Here's a video on setting up Microsoft Visual Studio Code for HTML and CSS development. We'll also be using it for JavaScript. If you haven't already installed it, I've Googled Microsoft Visual Studio Code here. Let's click the download link. And for the Mac, I've got an Intel chip Mac, and you probably do. If you have a brand new Mac, you have an Apple Silicon chip. The Universal will just bundle both of them and be a bigger file, so probably it's better to pick just the one that you need to save a little space. I have already downloaded it and installed it, and this is what it looks like when you first open up Microsoft Visual Studio Code. So if you don't see the same panel on the left as I do, click on the Explorer widget here. There are other widgets. One we'll use in a second is the Extensions widget. You may not have this little Docker gadget. I was doing experiments and installed that. You won't have it. So on the left-hand side, we've got the File Explorer. On the right-hand side, we've got a welcome message with release notes because I just upgraded. I'll delete the release notes. And then the welcome screen has a bunch of really helpful tutorials. There are some walkthroughs, some videos that you can see. I'm going to close this window for now, but don't worry, if you look in the Help menu, you can reopen that window message. Help menu also has links to introductory videos that Microsoft has made. Over on the left, you notice in the File Explorer, there are no files being shown because code operates with a folder in mind. So you first have to open a folder to set the root for your project. So what I will do is I will open a folder. In here I've got a folder called Demo, and I'll open it up, and then I will open the folder. And now over in the File Explorer, you can see my Demo folder heading, but there are no files in it. So let's get rid of the welcome message again and create a new file. I'll call it sample.html. And now I've got a panel over here where I can edit the sample.html file. I'll use the built-in Emmet shortcuts. If you type exclamation point, you see that you can fill in one of two options here. I'm going to use the single exclamation point, and that will give me an HTML skeleton. Let's call this sample. And then just do a very simple let's just copy the whole line. And then I will save it again. Now I can right-click on the sample.html file and reveal in Finder. There it is. And this is an HTML file, so I can open it in my browser. I could drag this over on top of Google Chrome, and there's what it looks like. Or open up inside Google Chrome my sample file, and you see the same thing. But there's an easier way to go back and forth between Visual Studio Code and Chrome, and that is to install the Live Server extension. I had it installed before, but I uninstalled it to show you the installation process. You may see installed or recommended. Your recommended list may look different than mine, but I will look for Live Server, and I'll click on the Live Server option here, and you see a description of what Live Server does, some information about the installer. You'll also see that over 15 million downloads of this file have been completed, of this extension. And if I click on install, it'll take a little bit of time, but before too long, there it is. It's installed. And so now if I go back over here, clean out the search bar and go back to where I am, you can now see that Live Server's in my installed section. So let's go back to sample.html, close that out, and now in the lower right hand corner you see a Go Live button. Click to run Live Server. So if I click it, it will switch me over to Chrome and show that file. I could also have right-clicked anywhere over here and said Open with Live Server. There's a keyboard shortcut, Command-L, Command-O, which you may learn. Notice that it says we're working on port 5500, which you can tell from the URL up here, 5500, at address 127.0.0.1. And as I mentioned before, let's go back to the File Explorer. We're working with this concept of folders, and the path to this file is considered to be the root of the files that we're adding to this project. So if I could add another file called style.css, and here we could start doing some HTML styling. So I'll save my style sheet and then come back over to sample, and I need to put in a link for an external style sheet. Link rel equals style sheet href of style.css, and if I save it, now all I have to do is switch back over to Google Chrome, and you can now see that my h1 has been updated to red. So just by saving the file on code pushes the new version of the HTML file over to the browser so I can see the updated version. Well, here are a few other little tips for typing in code. Suppose you get some code that looks kind of funky and not the way you'd like to see it. And this is okay, it's grammatical, but it doesn't look nice. What I'd like to do is to prettify this. And the way that I can prettify it is by using Shift Option F, and code reformats all of the file into a nice properly indented version so I can more easily see things. Let's try another paragraph here with my lorem ipsum. Notice that it just went all the way off to column 414. I'd like to see all of that on the screen at once. So in the View menu, I could choose Word Wrap, or notice that it's just Option Z. So I'll just do Option Z. And it will soft wrap all of that text so that it's more easy to read. And there, I'll save it and come back over to Chrome, and there's that HTML file. So in the future, maybe we'll explore some of the other options for extensions. You can see I've already got some for prettifying and coding in Python. There are some for JavaScript as well, with snippets of code that can come in handy, and we'll discuss those in the near future.